Imagine this. 70,000 years ago, humans were just one species among many, weak, insignificant, and no different from animals like lions or apes. We were scavenging for scraps, just trying to survive in a world full of predators and danger. No iPhones, no Netflix, no existential dread. Just kidding, there was probably tons of existential dread. But seriously, think about that for a second. We weren't building skyscrapers, composing symphonies, or launching satellites. We were just existing. Fast forward to today and we're building skyscrapers, flying to Mars, and creating artificial intelligence. We've harnessed the power of the atom, decoded the human genome, and created technologies that would seem like magic to our ancestors. So how did this happen? What propelled us from those humble beginnings to our current position as the dominant species on Earth? What's the secret of humanity's rise to power? Yuval Noah Harari tackles these very questions, and trust me, the answers will change the way you see yourself and the world around you. So, picture this. Early humans huddled around a flickering fire, not just for warmth, but sharing stories. See, around 70,000 years ago, something extraordinary happened. The cognitive revolution. It wasn't about growing bigger brains or developing sharper claws. It was about something far more powerful, our ability to think abstractly and share stories. Harari argues that this, my friends, was our secret weapon, our superpower that set us apart from every other life form on this planet. Think about it. No other animal on Earth believes in things that don't physically exist. They don't have nations, religions, or money. They don't gather around campfires and spin tales of heroes and monsters. But we humans? We're hardwired for stories. They're how we make sense of the world, how we communicate, how we build communities. And according to Harari, that's what allowed us to dominate. These shared myths, these collective fictions, allowed humans to cooperate in large numbers, numbers far greater than any other species could manage. We could work together, build complex societies, and take on challenges that would have seemed insurmountable to our hominid ancestors. Without the cognitive revolution, there'd be no pyramids, no democracy, no Google, no internet for crying out loud. And here's the mind-blowing part. Our lives today, in this modern technology-driven world, are still shaped by these shared fictions. Your paycheck? Just paper or numbers on a screen. But you believe in its value, right? That belief, my friends, powers economies. It influences your decisions, shapes your aspirations, and dictates your place in society. That, in essence, is the magic of storytelling, the driving force of human civilization. Think about the stories we tell ourselves about success, about love, about the meaning of life itself. These narratives, these shared beliefs, are powerful forces that shape our individual and collective realities. They can inspire us to great heights, but they can also lead us astray. The cognitive revolution was a pivotal moment in human history, but its legacy is a double-edged sword. It gave us the power to imagine, to create, and to dominate, but it also burdened us with the responsibility to use that power wisely. So, the next time you watch a movie, read a book, or even just listen to a friend tell a story, remember the cognitive revolution. Remember that you're tapping into a uniquely human ability, an ability that has shaped our past and will continue to shape our future. The story of humanity is a tale of revolutions, and hot on the heels of the cognitive revolution came another turning point, another game-changer, the agricultural revolution. About 10,000 years ago, something dramatic happened. We traded our hunter-gatherer lifestyles for something seemingly more stable: farming. We swapped spears for sickles, and the pursuit of wild beasts for the cultivation of crops. On the surface, it sounds like progress, right? Domesticating plants, raising animals, creating a surplus of food. It's the foundation of civilization as we know it. But hold on a minute. Harari throws us a curveball, challenging us to consider the possibility that farming was actually a trap. Sure, it brought benefits, but it also came with a hefty price tag. A price tag, I might add, that we're still paying today. With agriculture came the rise of settled societies, of villages and later cities. People packed themselves together, living in closer proximity to each other and to their livestock than ever before. And guess what? Diseases spread like wildfire. Not only that, but farming is hard work, really hard work. Our hunter-gatherer ancestors enjoyed a surprising amount of leisure time. Farming, on the other hand, is a never-ending cycle of toil and worry. Worry about the weather, worry about pests, worry about whether the harvest will be enough to feed your family through the long winter months. It's back-breaking labor, and for many, it led to a decline in overall health and well-being. And here's the kicker: agriculture fueled something else. population growth. With a more stable food supply, people were having more children, and those children were more likely to survive to adulthood. This led to overpopulation, increased competition for resources, and ultimately, more conflict. So, was farming a mistake? It's a question that continues to spark debate, but Harari's point is clear: not all progress is good progress. Sometimes the very innovations that seem to improve our lives end up creating new and unforeseen problems. It's a cautionary tale that resonates even today. Think about how technology is often touted as the solution to all our problems. It's supposed to make our lives easier, more efficient, more connected. But does it really? Or are we becoming enslaved by our devices, addicted to information, and increasingly isolated from the natural world and from one another? Are we, in our relentless pursuit of progress, repeating the mistakes of the agricultural revolution? These are questions worth pondering. As we hurtle headlong into the future, we would do well to remember the lessons of the past. Progress, for all its allure, is a double-edged sword. It's up to us to use its power wisely and to ensure that it truly benefits humanity, rather than leading us down a path of unintended consequences. Chapter 3. The Power of Money and Religion. Invisible forces that unite us. Let's talk about two things you might not expect to see mentioned in the same sentence. Money and religion. On the surface, they seem worlds apart, right? One is all about material wealth, the other about spiritual enlightenment. But Harari, in his infinite wisdom, draws a fascinating parallel between these seemingly disparate forces, revealing how both have played a pivotal role in shaping human history and uniting us into vast, complex societies. Let's start with money. Think about it. A piece of paper, a few coins, a string of digits on a computer screen. They have no intrinsic value. Yet these things, these symbols of wealth, have the power to move mountains. They can spark wars, topple empires, and fuel unimaginable acts of both generosity and greed. Why? Because we, as a species, have collectively agreed to believe in their value. Money, in its essence, is a shared myth, a story we tell ourselves about worth and scarcity. It's a powerful story, one that allows us to trade goods and services, to accumulate wealth, and to build complex economies that span the globe. Without money, our interconnected world would grind to a halt. We'd revert back to bartering systems which, while charming in their simplicity, are incredibly inefficient for large-scale cooperation. Money, whether we like it or not, is the lifeblood of civilization. Now let's consider religion. Another powerful story, wouldn't you say? Religions, with their moral codes, their rituals, and their promise of something greater than ourselves, provide a sense of order and meaning in a world that can often feel chaotic and unpredictable. They offer comfort in times of sorrow, guidance in times of uncertainty, and a sense of community that transcends geographical boundaries. But here's the thing. Religions, like money, are ultimately based on beliefs. Beliefs in a higher power, in an afterlife, in a set of principles that dictate how we should live our lives. These beliefs, when shared by millions, become incredibly powerful forces, shaping cultures, influencing laws, and driving both incredible acts of compassion and horrific acts of violence. So, what's the common thread here? Both money and religion are systems of belief, invisible forces that unite us, that allow us to cooperate in large numbers, and that have shaped the course of human history. They are the stories we tell ourselves about value, about purpose, about our place in the cosmos. They are the invisible threads that hold together the tapestry of human civilization. Take a moment to reflect on the beliefs that shape your own life. What stories do you tell yourself about success, about happiness, about right and wrong? Are these beliefs serving you well? Are they helping you to connect with others, to make a positive impact on the world, to live a life of purpose and meaning? Or are they holding you back, limiting your potential, and preventing you from experiencing the fullness of what it means to be human? Chapter 4, Capitalism and Consumerism, the New Religions. We've talked about the power of stories, the impact of revolutions. Now, let's dive into the heart of modern society, into a world saturated with information, fueled by consumption, and driven by an insatiable hunger for more. Harari, ever the provocateur, argues that in our relentless pursuit of progress, we've inadvertently created new religions, new systems of belief that govern our thoughts, emotions, and desires. These modern-day faiths, capitalism and consumerism, think about it. We're bombarded with messages: buy this, own that, experience this, upgrade to that. Happiness, we're told, can be found in the next purchase, the latest gadget, the most Instagrammable vacation. We've become devotees at the altar of consumerism, constantly seeking fulfillment in material possessions and experiences. But here's the catch. the satisfaction rarely lasts. That new car smell fades, that designer handbag loses its luster, that exotic vacation becomes a distant memory. We're left wanting more, caught in an endless cycle of desire and disappointment. Harari challenges us to question this cycle. Is this relentless pursuit of material wealth and fleeting pleasure truly making us happy? Or are we sacrificing our health, our relationships, and our planet at the altar of consumerism? And then there's capitalism, the economic engine driving this cycle of consumption. We're taught to worship at the altar of economic growth, to strive for financial success as the ultimate marker of personal achievement. But what about the costs? The environmental degradation, the widening gap between the haves and the have-nots, the exploitation of labor and the relentless pursuit of profit? Harari isn't advocating for the abolition of capitalism or for a life devoid of material comforts. He's simply asking us to be aware, to be mindful of the systems that shape our lives, and to consider the possibility that true happiness and fulfillment might lie beyond the walls of the shopping mall and the allure of the latest iPhone. This part of the book really struck a chord with me. It forced me to confront my own consumerist tendencies, to question the things I prioritize, and to ask myself whether my pursuit of stuff was truly aligned with my values. It's a question we should all be asking ourselves. What are we truly chasing? Is it happiness, fulfillment, a sense of purpose? Or are we simply buying into a story that tells us that happiness can be found in a shopping cart, a bank account, or the envy of our peers? It's time to rewrite the narrative, my friends. To redefine what it means to live a good life, a meaningful life, a life that leaves a positive mark on the world. Chapter 5. The Future of Humanity. Are we playing God? From the cognitive revolution to the agricultural revolution, from the power of shared myths to the rise of capitalism and consumerism, Harari's journey through human history has been a wild ride, wouldn't you say? But it's in the final chapters that things get really interesting, really mind-bending, because Harari doesn't just leave us in the present, he catapults us into the future, a future brimming with both promise and peril. With advancements in biotechnology, artificial intelligence, and other fields moving at an unprecedented pace, humanity is standing at a crossroads, staring into the abyss of its own potential. We're on the cusp of altering life as we know it, of reshaping the very fabric of reality. We're talking about editing genes, creating artificial life, merging humans with machines, the stuff of science fiction, right? Except it's not science fiction anymore, it's becoming our reality. The question is, are we ready for this? Have we, in our quest to conquer nature, to unravel the mysteries of the universe, become too powerful for our own good? Harari doesn't offer easy answers. He simply presents us with the facts, the possibilities, and the potential consequences of our actions. We're on the verge of becoming Homo Deus, as Harari puts it, godlike beings with the power to create and destroy on a scale unimaginable to our ancestors. But with great power comes great responsibility. The choices we make today, the technologies we develop, the ethical lines we choose to cross or to hold, these decisions will determine the fate of humanity and of our planet. It's a daunting thought, isn't it? To hold the future of our species in our hands. But it's also incredibly exciting. We are privileged to be alive in this pivotal time, to witness firsthand the unfolding of this extraordinary chapter in human history. The future is not predetermined, it's not written in stone. It's a story that we are writing, each and every one of us, through the choices we make and the actions we take. So I ask you, what kind of future do you want to create? A future where technology is used to uplift humanity, to eradicate disease, to create a more just and equitable world? Or a future where we succumb to our own hubris, where technology widens the gap between the haves and the have-nots, where we create a dystopian world ruled by algorithms and artificial intelligence? These aren't hypothetical questions, they are the defining questions of our time. And the answers, my friends, lie within each of us. It's time to step up, to engage in these critical conversations, and to use our collective wisdom and compassion to steer humanity towards a brighter future. Outro, what will you choose? So, there you have it, a whirlwind tour through, a book that's as thought-provoking as it is entertaining. Let's recap the key ideas that we've covered. 1. The cognitive revolution taught us the power of shared myths. 2. The agricultural revolution showed us that progress can have a dark side. 3. Money and religion are the invisible systems that unite us. 4. Capitalism and Consumerism Are the New Religions Driving Our World. 5. The Future Challenges Us to Act Responsibly with Our Power. This book is more than just a history of humankind. It's a guide to understanding where we came from and where we're headed. It's an invitation to question our assumptions, to challenge our beliefs, and to think critically about the forces that shape our individual and collective destinies. It's a reminder that the future is not set in stone. It's a story that we are writing each and every day, through the choices we make and the actions we take. If this summary made you think differently about life, hit that like button and subscribe for more book summaries that challenge your perspective. And don't just stop here. Grab a copy of and dive deeper. The book goes into so much more detail and is really worth the read.